Hi everybody, welcome to Northwood Farms Vlog, entry number 160. And I'm Emma.
And I'm Peggy.
And this is Bert, the famous Bert, which we have decided is spelled B-E-R-T. Well,
yes.
Finally I asked you guys.
B-E-R-T, like on Sesame Street.
I call him McSexy though, because he's
he deserves
fabulous.
it.
So, you and I have been riding together since you've been at the campus at a guest here for...
February.
Oh yeah,
it's been since February. Yeah,
she's gonna stay forever.
It's been the greatest couple of months ever as far as for my horsemanship. It really has.
So fun. Yeah. Mine too. So the other day, we have to tell you guys. Some of you know this story already. Tell this story.
Well, let me give you a little backstory. So Bert and I have just been struggling on loping circles, and Emma's been and I've heard from Buck and from Ricky, whom I ride with, that he needs to get back on his hocks, he needs to get that weight back, he needs to et cetera, balance himself, carry himself, and I know all that and thought I got it, and I'm like, ugh. And then Emma said, well, do you want me to ride him? And so that gave me the opportunity to watch her ride him. And I got to ride little Jackson, who already knows all that and has the most beautiful counter canter and everything else, you name it. So it was really cool to feel what I was really searching for in Bert, because I thought I had it and I didn't.
And I think what was so interesting is, and the reason I asked to ride him, you guys, it was so funny because I'm like, just let me ride that horse.
She didn't say that.
Peggy's like, okay. So, but there's a certain point where, you were doing all the things that you'd been told to do. The mechanics were there. It wasn't any, big item. And I was like, I don't know what else to say if I can't feel, some of the more intricate little things.
Right, what he's doing.
Right.
Yeah, there was a big question out there for me for a while. Does he know it and I'm screwing it up that bad? Or... is it just something he hasn't learned yet? Because he came to me pretty young, knowing a lot, but there's only so much you can know in a couple of years.
Yeah.
So
that's and that was really interesting for me to feel, because I got on him, and he's huge. For those of you guys that don't know, he's probably 1,500 pounds easy. Yeah. And built, so beautifully, like a really nice quarter horse. So it's not like, maybe on a thoroughbred or some of the other horses where you can kind of see when they're going around or not going around. Some of these things can kind of be hidden in him. And so, and particularly when we're talking about the intricate stuff. So for me to get on him and be like, okay, Bert, let's go a little rounder. Let's sit down a little more and go forwards. And it was like, oh yeah, he doesn't do that. This is not how it goes.
He did. Yeah. And I didn't really know how it could feel till I got on Jackson. And when he stopped, Emma had to get me there on how to really ask him to stop and teeter back before he straightens out those hocks so that he can actually teeter back. And then I just asked him to go, and he just sprung forward because he was so loaded on those hocks, and I realized how much I'd been missing because I thought that's what I was doing. So I was like, holy moly, he just jumped forward. It was super cool.
And I think that's the message. That's the part that's hard to describe. That's the part I had to figure out for myself, really, because Buck had been squawking at me about life for years. You guys know my story. But it was watching him and really figuring out that when he loaded the hocks and when he stopped his horses and kept a bend in the hocks, that's where the torque comes from. Is when the hocks are bent, then they can spring forwards, and that is where the power comes from. It's not, kicking your horse or encouraging more go after the hocks are straight. And an easy way to build power is to teach them to stop with a bend in the hocks.
Right. Because they really can't. It's not even, it wasn't that he didn't have the will. It's not that he didn't have the will to please or the athleticism or anything. He just wasn't ready.
Yep. That's exactly right.
Yeah, he has everything else going for him, except I hadn't got him there yet. So now I'm trying. Really trying.
And it's just been so fun to get to play around with that, and to watch you on Jax, you know, a horse that I knew, and then to ride Bert, who I've been watching for years, and then, you know, knowing where you are, it's just a special thing. And then that kind of ties into what we were talking about, how this whole camp is that is what this is for, is to have
right. And it's really cool I've never been in a place where everybody they may not have exactly the same goal, but everybody wants the best for their horse and their horsemanship, and everybody works at it. So it's really pretty cool.
One of our other guests says to me, we were walking from the arena the other day, and she was asking me some questions about dressage, which you guys, a lot of you know, is my personal background, even though I do ride in a weight saddle now. And she says, so you guys actually do accept everybody? Because she'd heard it. It was one of those things that she'd heard, but she didn't really believe it. And then after being here for a little while. So
that's
anyway,
pretty cool.
Yeah. So that should be our story. We'll keep it just a little bit shorter, and maybe we'll do one more, because there's some snaffle bit stuff I wanted to talk about. And so we hope everybody has a good week going forwards. And we'll talk to you later.
Sunshine.
Bye.